You achieved 50% of the required carnage.
Your move. Hello there. Must we do this again, General?
Only until I tire of suffering.
Do you know what I appreciate about it?
The Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi has finally come to an end, and whether you love it or you hate it, it seemed to me like there's no better time to drop a bit of Obi-Wan content from the great Star Wars Battlefront II. So in today's video, we're taking a look at Kenobi as a playable character in the game, the best cards that you need to run, and some general tips and tricks for getting the most out of them. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Battlefront II video. My name is Original Bon Jovi. I haven't uploaded any Battlefront videos since my Count Dooku character guide last summer, mainly because the game got under my skin and I had to take a long break. But we're finally back. If you're new around here, please do me a big favor and hit the sub button, then turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with all of my Star Wars gaming content. I also stream Battlefront over on Twitch most days of the week, and I always play with viewers, so either look up Original Bon Jovi on Twitch or just click the link in the description below to drop me a follow. With that bit of housekeeping out of the way, let's get into it. I'll be totally honest with you guys, Obi-Wan Kenobi is not an easy character to master. What makes Battlefront 2 both tricky and interesting is that each hero or villain has a totally different set of abilities. It's not the sort of thing where if you learn one, you learn them all. To get good at a particular hero, you have to spend time playing as them. I didn't use Kenobi very often when I played mostly Supremacy and Galactic Assault, and until last month, I didn't use him for heroes versus villains either. But after a lot of practice in various game modes, I'm finally at a point where I feel confident charging into battle as the Jedi Master himself, so let's talk about how you should do it. To put it simply, Kenobi is a defensive character. His attacks don't have the highest damage, and he doesn't have very much what we Call of Duty players call lunge in his strikes, which is to say he won't hit people with his lightsaber unless they're pretty damn close. Put that up against a saber villain like Dooku, or even a highly mobile character like Bossk or Palpatine, and you're bound to have a hard time. But Kenobi does have a lot of stamina. He can block a ton of blaster and lightsaber attacks, which is perfect for wearing down your opponent's energy and either deflecting their shots back at them or parrying their strikes. When playing as Kenobi, you have to bait people into spamming the hell out of you, only attacking them when they're vulnerable, and dodging as much as you can. It requires a lot of patience, something which, quite honestly, I don't have much of, but it pays off in the end. When it comes to his secondary abilities, Kenobi has one good trick up his sleeve, with two that I think are mediocre at best. We'll start with the good. Restrictive Mind Trick temporarily prevents his opponents from using their own abilities against him, which comes in handy when you're up against very ability-dependent characters such as Dooku, Boba Fett, and Kenobi's #1 foil, Darth Vader. You want to use the Restrictive Mind Trick as much as you possibly can. If their abilities don't work and they wear down their stamina by saber spamming or whatever else, that'll give you the perfect opportunity to strike. All-Out Push is just okay. It's basically a force push that'll launch enemies a longer distance depending on how long you hold down the button. It's not bad in a pinch, but a lot less helpful than Luke's force push, and you have to get the timing and aiming perfect, or else you're opening yourself up to being obliterated by the enemy. I use it here and there, though I don't consider All-Out Push to be a crutch ability in the same way that Restrictive Mind Trick is. Defensive Rush also has its moments. This ability causes Obi-Wan to charge forward and deflect any blaster fire in his way. If you want to break out of the ability, just press your lightsaber attack button and it'll finish with a slightly more damaging strike at whoever happens to be in front of you at the time. Personally, I really struggle to get the timing right with the attack, so I don't use this one very much. It's kinda slow, and like All-Out Push, it leaves Kenobi vulnerable if you misjudge the timing of it. As a general bit of advice, you need to remember that Kenobi's ADS time sucks. Obviously, he doesn't have a blaster with sights to aim down, so when I talk about ADS, I'm referring to the speed it takes to... how do I say it without getting demonetized? Get his lightsaber up. Look, Kenobi is old, his response time sucks, so sometimes it takes a little extra to block with his lightsaber. When you see someone preparing to attack you, you're going to want to start blocking sooner than you would with other heroes. I've been killed a lot because of this issue. It's just something you want to keep in mind and become familiar with, because nobody likes trouble getting their lightsaber up. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the best card setup. Whenever I make a card setup for any of my heroes, I try to do it in a way that works in more situations than not. Some cards, for example, only kick in if you meet very strict criteria, or they improve abilities that don't actually get you very far in the game. These cards right here will do a great job in any game mode and virtually any situation you find yourself in. Jedi Resilience, when maxed out, gives Kenobi 100 extra health regen points. Because Kenobi is a defensive character and lacks the health points of someone like Anakin or Vader, anything you can do to boost his health will be a huge benefit. Take my word for it. If you max out Perfect Defense, this card will reduce the stamina drain by 40% when you're blocking attacks from either lightsabers or blasters. It's perfectly suited to Kenobi's mechanics and playstyle, and combined with Jedi Resilience will make him a much more viable option than he is by default. It totally changed the way I play the game with Kenobi, and I think you'll find it just as helpful when you try it out for yourself. Finally, I go with Think It Over. This card increases the effect of Restrictive Mind Trick by 1.4, which I take to mean a second and a half. Although that doesn't sound like a lot, it's enough time to get in a couple more strikes before they're able to use their abilities again, and that can often mean the difference between life and death when you're head-to-head with an enemy or a group of enemies. Because Restrictive Mind Trick is by far Kenobi's most important ability, it makes perfect sense to apply a card to it. If these options don't do the trick for you, I do have a couple alternative ideas. Maybe you'd replace Jedi Resilience with More Doubts, which increases the range of Restrictive Mind Trick by up to 50%. I don't find it necessary myself, though if you're up against Palpatine or Bosk, or maybe a group of soldiers who are trying to keep their distance from you, the Mind Trick followed up with Defensive Rush can help you close the distance nicely. Critical Deflection increases the damage of a deflected blaster shot up to 50 points each. That might be helpful in Galactic Assault or Supremacy, but in my experience on HVV, it doesn't offer you enough to justify using it. Long story short, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the most challenging lightsaber hero or villain I've ever had to learn, no doubt about it, and yet the process of actually doing that has definitely improved me as a player. A good Kenobi can be fun, engaging, and super annoying to fight against. What do you think about him? Let me know down in the comment section if you have a different set of cards that you like to use, and tell me how you think he ranks compared to some of the other characters. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with my favorite character build for Luke Skywalker, along with my level 1000 heavy class setup, so take a look at those if you want, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.